When a woman chooses to walk away from a man of integrity, she may believe she's making a decision that benefits her, but what she often fails to realize is that she's letting go of something she'll struggle to find again. Integrity is rare. It's not about perfection. It's about a man whose words and actions align, a man who keeps his promises, who shows up with honesty, loyalty, and strength of character. That kind of man doesn't bend to convenience, doesn't play games, and doesn't betray himself or the person he's with. When she walks away, she isn't just leaving a relationship, she's leaving behind the kind of foundation most women spend their lives searching for. A man of integrity doesn't have to announce his worth because it's reflected in how he lives. He treats people with respect, but never compromises his values for approval. He gives his word and follows through. He doesn't need to manipulate, beg, or pretend because authenticity is at the core of who he is. That's what makes him powerful. His strength is quiet, steady, and undeniable. To a woman who didn't know how to recognize it, this might have seemed ordinary. She may have mistaken his reliability for simplicity or his honesty for a lack of excitement. But one day she will come to understand that she walked away from one of the rarest things a man can offer, consistency backed by integrity. The world is full of men who say one thing and do another, who run from responsibility or who hide behind masks to get what they want. But the man of integrity stands apart because he is rooted in something deeper than fleeting attraction or shallow charm. He has principles and he lives by them. He doesn't crumble under pressure. He doesn't betray himself for temporary comfort. That steadiness is what makes women feel secure, even if they don't always appreciate it in the moment. And when she leaves thinking she can do better, she eventually faces the truth. The men she encounters won't measure up because most will not carry the same discipline, the same loyalty, or the same unshakable character. The truth is, she may not realize the depth of her loss right away. In the beginning, it may feel liberating to chase something new, something exciting, something that feels different. But excitement fades quickly when it isn't supported by trust and character. Eventually, she will compare every man she meets to the one who never wavered, the one who didn't need to lie, the one who was solid when others faltered. And in that moment, she'll understand she didn't just lose a boyfriend or a partner, she lost the kind of man who doesn't come around twice. Integrity cannot be bought, faked, or replaced. It is forged through discipline, through struggle, through commitment to values that never bend. And when a man like that is gone, the absence speaks louder than his presence ever did, because in the end, she didn't just walk away from you, she walked away from the man she'll never find again. So many women make the mistake of confusing consistency with boredom. They don't realize that the very things they overlook, the steady presence, the reliability, the way a man shows up the same today as he did yesterday, are the qualities that make love last. In a world where most people are inconsistent, where promises are broken as easily as they're made, and where emotions shift like the wind, a man who remains steady is rare. Yet instead of appreciating that reliability, some women misinterpret it as predictability, as if consistency somehow means a lack of passion. When a man is consistent, it doesn't mean he's boring. It means he's trustworthy. It means when he says he'll be there, he is. When he says he cares, he proves it through his actions. When he gives his heart, he doesn't withdraw it the moment things get hard. That type of man provides a foundation of safety, and safety is what allows love to grow. But often, women conditioned by drama or unpredictability mistake that calm for a lack of excitement. They confuse stability with monotony, forgetting that passion without consistency burns fast and dies quickly. In relationships, consistency is the quiet force that keeps everything intact. It's not about grand gestures once in a while. It's about showing up every single day. It's about the good morning texts, not because he has to, but because he wants to. It's about following through on small promises that build trust over time. It's about never leaving her wondering where she stands. That kind of energy doesn't create constant adrenaline. It creates peace. And peace, for someone who doesn't yet value it, can feel unfamiliar, sometimes even mistaken for dullness. But here's the truth. Chaos might feel thrilling in the short term, but it never builds a future. Excitement that comes from unpredictability eventually turns into anxiety, insecurity, and exhaustion. What feels exciting in the beginning often becomes the very thing that breaks her down later. And when she finally looks back, she'll realize that the consistency she once dismissed was actually the rarest form of love. It was the thing that would have given her the stability she craved but didn't know how to recognize. When she walks away from a consistent man, she may not immediately feel the weight of her decision. She may believe she's searching for something more, something different, something thrilling. But with time, she'll see the difference. She'll notice that other men may say all the right things at first, but fail to deliver. She'll notice that their energy fades, their attention shifts, and their promises disappear. And she'll remember the man who never wavered, the one who was steady even when life wasn't, the one she left behind. Consistency is not boring. It is the most dependable form of passion. It's the difference between a flame that flickers and dies and a fire that warms for a lifetime. And when she realizes that, it will be too late. Because she didn't just walk away from consistency, she walked away from the man she'll never find again. One of the most common mistakes women make in relationships is taking a man's presence for granted. When a man gives consistently, shows up with loyalty, and makes himself available, it can be easy for her to assume that he'll always be there no matter what. Over time, his steady presence starts to feel like background noise. Something reliable, something constant, something so woven into her life that she stops noticing it. But what she doesn't realize is that presence only feels invisible until it's gone. And once it's gone, the void it leaves is undeniable. When a man is truly present, it's not just about being in the same room. It's about being attentive, being supportive, being emotionally invested. It's the countless small acts of care that often go unnoticed, the encouragement on tough days, the patience during conflict, the silent strength that makes her feel safe. These things don't come with fireworks or drama, so they're often undervalued in the moment, yet they are the very fabric of what makes a relationship solid and enduring. The truth is, most people don't realize the weight of consistency until it's removed. While she had him, she might have thought his presence was ordinary. She might have assumed that the way he showed up was simply what men do. But when she walks away, she learns the reality. Most men aren't like that. Many won't be there when things get hard. Many won't sacrifice or support without conditions. And many won't have the patience or depth that he gave so freely. Now, this realization doesn't hit immediately. At first, she may feel empowered by her decision to leave, thinking she has gained her freedom. She may believe there are better options waiting, men who are more exciting, more charming, or more thrilling. But slowly, as time passes, she begins to see what she left behind. She notices the indifference in others, the lack of effort, the absence of genuine presence. She feels the emptiness that comes when no one truly sees her the way he once did. And in that absence, she begins to understand the truth. The presence she once overlooked was not ordinary. It was extraordinary. It was rare, and it was valuable. His quiet reliability, his constant support, his unwavering loyalty, those were not traits that every man carried. They were unique to him. And now that he's gone, she feels the difference in a way that cannot be ignored. Taking someone for granted is often a mistake realized only in hindsight. By the time she recognizes his value, the door has already closed. The man she thought would always be there has moved on, not out of bitterness, but because a man who knows his worth doesn't wait around to be appreciated. And when that happens, the truth is undeniable. She didn't just lose a partner, she lost the man she'll never find again. There's a dangerous illusion that many fall for in relationships, the idea that the grass is greener somewhere else. It's easy for someone to look at what they have and begin to minimize it, convincing themselves that there must be something better out there. She might look at the stability, loyalty, and love you gave, and instead of valuing it, convince herself that excitement, novelty, or some imagined perfection lies just beyond the horizon. But the truth is, chasing that illusion often leads to disappointment because what looks greener from a distance usually turns out to be nothing more than painted grass. When she thought the grass was greener, she failed to see the depth of what she already had. A man who was loyal, a man who was consistent, A man who didn't just talk about love, but proved it every single day. In her eyes, maybe it started to feel too normal, too predictable, too certain. And so she believed that leaving meant she could find something more thrilling, more glamorous, more in line with her fantasies. But here's the reality: excitement fades, charm wears off, and the men who make promises without substance eventually show who they really are. The grass only appears greener because it hasn't been lived on yet. Every new relationship starts fresh, full of spark and novelty, but over time, it too will require consistency, effort, and loyalty. And when she realizes that the man she left was the one who actually provided those qualities, it hits her harder than she expected. She'll remember that while you might not have created constant drama, you created security. While you might not have been perfect, you were real. While others may have had the appearance of more, none could match the depth of what you brought. And this is where regret begins to grow. She begins to notice the cracks and the illusions she once chased. She sees that the new men she meets may give her temporary highs, but not lasting stability. She realizes that their promises come with conditions. Their charm hides inconsistencies, and their attention drifts as quickly as it appeared. That's when she starts looking back, comparing every new experience to what she once had. But by then it's too late. The man she walked away from, the man she thought could be replaced, has already moved forward. He's not waiting to be chosen again, because a man who knows his worth doesn't stand in line for someone who thought he wasn't enough. He understands that real value is recognized, not begged for. She thought the grass was greener, but what she lost was the garden she didn't know how to tend. And when the illusion fades, she'll come to understand the truth. She didn't lose a man. She lost the man she'll never find again. One of the most powerful truths about being a man of value is that you cannot be controlled. A woman may try to test you to see if she can bend you to her will, to find out if you'll compromise your standards just to keep her around. And when you refuse to break, when you stand firm in who you are, she may mistake that strength as indifference or stubbornness. But the reality is, women don't truly respect men they can control. They might enjoy the power in the short term, but deep down they crave a man who has boundaries, a man who will not trade his self-respect for anyone's approval. When you don't beg, when you don't chase, when you don't crumble under pressure, you show her a type of strength that is rare. You're not saying you don't care, you're showing that you value yourself enough not to settle for less than mutual respect. That's the kind of energy that makes a man unforgettable. Because while she might walk away in search of someone easier to manipulate, she will quickly realize that what she thought was strength in controlling others is actually weakness compared to the man who stands tall in his principles. Being a man who cannot be controlled doesn't mean being cold or arrogant. It means you have a clear sense of who you are, what you want, and what you will not tolerate. It means you can love fully without losing yourself in the process. It means you can give your all to someone, but if they cross the line of disrespect, you have the courage to walk away. That kind of self-respect is magnetic because it communicates that you live by choice, not by desperation. And when she loses a man like that, she doesn't just lose someone to lean on, she loses someone who challenged her to rise higher. A man who stands firm, pushes others to do the same. He inspires growth. He demands accountability. He sets the bar for how a relationship should be built. Without him, she may find men who are easier to sway, easier to control, but she won't find the same respect she once had for the man who stood his ground. Over time, she'll come to realize that the men who give in too easily are the very ones she loses interest in quickly. They might say yes to everything she wants. They might bend to her moods. They might avoid conflict just to keep the peace. But none of that creates attraction or respect. True respect comes from knowing a man has a backbone, from seeing that he will not lose himself just to keep her happy. So when she walked away from the man who couldn't be controlled, she didn't just leave someone strong, she left someone irreplaceable. And the day will come when she realizes that men like him don't come around often. She didn't just lose a partner, she lost the man she'll never find again. What many women fail to realize when they walk away is that they aren't just losing a man, they're losing the future that man was offering them. A good man doesn't just bring himself into a relationship, he brings vision, stability, protection, leadership, and the ability to build a life that feels safe and fulfilling. He's not only thinking about today, he's thinking about tomorrow, about what he and his partner could create together. And when she decides to leave, she's not just leaving his presence, she's abandoning the path to a future that only he could have given her. A man of value provides more than emotional connection, he provides direction. He's the type of man who makes her feel like no matter how chaotic the world gets, she has a steady rock to lean on. He's the one who listens, who plans, who follows through, who works to build something lasting instead of chasing fleeting excitement. That's the kind of energy that lays the foundation for a home, a family, a life of purpose. It's the invisible safety net that makes her believe she can be her fullest self without fear. When she leaves, she's not just walking away from what they had in the moment, she's forfeiting that kind of future stability. Most women don't recognize this immediately. In the beginning, she may think she's simply making a choice about one man. She may tell herself that other men can provide the same things or that she can build it all on her own. But as time passes, reality sets in. She sees that most men don't have vision. Most don't have discipline. Most don't offer unwavering support while also leading with confidence. What she once dismissed as ordinary in you becomes clear as extraordinary compared to the inconsistency she finds elsewhere. And that's when regret starts to creep in. She realizes the love you gave wasn't temporary, it was built for the long run. She realizes that the sense of security you offered wasn't weakness, it was strength. She realizes that your leadership wasn't control, it was guidance born out of love and responsibility. Every time she encounters disappointment, every time she feels let down by men who can't deliver what you did so naturally, she's reminded of what she walked away from. The truth is, when a man of value commits, he's not just committing to the woman in front of him, he's committing to the future they could share. And when she loses him, she doesn't just lose his love, she loses the stability, the partnership, the dreams, and the security that came along with it. Those things don't grow on every tree. They're rare, they're precious. And once they're gone, they don't come back. She didn't just lose you, she lost the life you could have built together, a life she'll never find again.